Hello friends, welcome you all once again in lecture series Machining Science and Machine Tool. I am Amit Tiwari, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Suresh Kanvyar University, Jaipur. Today is the 34th lecture of this series and the topic of today's lecture is Miscellaneous Function and M code. The objective of today's lecture is to machining center is to enhance the lean manufacturing by significantly reducing the cycle time of processes and increasing flexibility, thereby improving the overall quality of the work. So today we are discussing about the M code and how the flexibility and increasing the process of cycle by reducing the time processing and how to improve the quality of the work by using the M code. Outcomes at the end of this lecture, student will be able to understand about the M code is the machine control language that control the overall program, often called G code. While G code and G command describe the positions, M code direct the machine actions. While M represent miscellaneous code and some refer to as a machine code because it controls the particulars operation of the equipment. So at the end of this lecture, student will be understand that is the M code is used for the machine control and G code is used for the describe the position of the tool or the workpiece. As the introduction of a miscellaneous function, it is M code, the function actually operate some controls on the machine tool and thus affect the running of the machine. Generally, only one M code is supposed to be given in a single block. However, some controllers allow for two or more code to be given in a block, provided these are not mutually exclusive. Example for that is coolant on M07 and off M09 cannot be given in a one block. So less number of M code have been standardized by the ISO compared to G code in view of the direct control exercised by these of the machine tool and the ISO standard M code are shown below. So today we are discussing about the how the machine tool will be operated by the M code and what is the difference between the M code and the G code. G code just basically used for the direction provided and direction to move the tool or to direction that change the workpiece for helping with the help of G code. But in the case of the M code is basically used for to control the machine tool. The machine tools, that means the single point cutting tool, multi-point cutting tool, or if you want to change the tool, if you want to operate any particular tool for which are using for that operation. So these all are the operating of the tool or controlling of the tool will be managed by the miscellaneous function M code. For example, just if you want to start the coolant on, so you want to give the command for M07 for that. And if you and after the operation part completely, you have to off the command of the coolant off. So you have to put the command M09 for the off function. So these are the some basically have to very simple and standardization ISO miscellaneous function are to be standardized by the authorities and by the machine tool by the CNC machining programming having the standard number of tools are provided for managing the or controlling the machine part. Each and every machine tool, each and every G code or M code have a describe the particular function, and that particular function will be helped to understand the operation and the direction of the CNC machine or NC machine or any DNC machine. So what we do starting, we have to do that the machining control is just a part of the miscellaneous function and for giving the direction of that particular machine, what type of direction or what are the axis you have to select it for that. So we use the G code for that. Now in this that lecture, that is a C, the less number of the M code has been standardized by the ISO compared to the G code in view of the direct control assisted by this of the machine tool. And this ISO code standardized and M code has to be shown in the figure. We can just give the description of that particular code. There are the number of the codes are available and the function are to be given that particular code. What code to be used for that particular function. So this code has this particular code is used if you are making the part programming. If you write a program for that particular operation, so you have to maintain what type of a code are using for that particular operation. That is, if you want to coolant on, if you want to change the tool, if you want to that change the workpiece from that. So what tool is used for that particular programming, and where the G code is to be used for particular programming. So whenever you have to write a program, just keep in mind each and every code is a different code, and each and every we can say M code and the G code are to be different to each other. Both are not same to each other, because both the direction are different. One is working with the direction changing, and another one is working with the tool changing or tool controlling options for that. So ISO M code are to be shown below. That you can see here. This is the M code. M code, that means M00. M00 function of the M00 is to program stop, spindles and coolant off. M01 is used for the optional programmable stop. M02 used for the end of program, often interchangeable with M30. M03 used for the spindle on CW. M04 used for the spindle on CCW. M05 is used for the spindle stop. M06 is used for the tool change. M07 used for the coolant supply number 1 on, and M08 used for the coolant supply number 2 on, M09 used for the coolant off, and M010 used for the clamp. So basically there are the different types of functions are available for the particular code, and each and every code are to be different to each other. So whenever you have to use that coolant, if you want to coolant on, that is for the supply 1, so you can put the code that is for M07. If you want to coolant on for the supply 2, you have to put the code that is M08 for the programming. So these are the difference between the each and every program, and having the very unique features are available in the M code. You can see in the series for the M00 series to M10, there is a lot of the series the numbers are available, that is the M00 to M99. But each and every term has to be unique specific feature, unique specific function are to be available. And we can say that a spindle, if you want, there are the three type of spindle function are available. The first is if you want to spindle on for the CW section, then M03 you put for that, and M04 is used for the spindle on for the section of CCW, and another one is M05 is used for the spindle stop. So these are the working of the different spindles, and as well as if you want to change the tool, then you have to use for M06 for that. Now another one is the coolant supply number 1 on. So coolant supply, there are two type of coolant supply, for the section 1 and for the section 2. So the section 1 used for that M07, section 2 is used for the M02 use command for that as a head M08. And after that the coolant after the working completely working and the function will be done, then you have to stop the command, and using that off command, it is used for the M09 command use. So basically these all, as you not said, that the miscellaneous function code is known as the M code, and M code is basically used for control the machine tool. So these are the machine tools: spindle, tool change, coolant, clamp, programming stop for the spindle and coolant, and optional programming stop end of the program. So these all are the some machine tools controllers codes which are using for the operate of a function, which are using for the write a program for that. And each and every program is very unique program, and have it a different we can say learn a more lot of thing, but a particular for particular operation, particular function, the other two or three type of command are available. So what type of command you use for particular, you have to just an idea. And in the series, because the series is very sequence wise, it is 01, 02, 03, 04 to 010, and each and every terms have a different specification, and different functions are available for the operating the machine. So that's why we can say it is a very good and very easy to understand, but it's not a difficult task, because it has the idea to be how to can operate, how to can control the command. It is just idea to become from the M code. Now another one codes are available, that is for the series M11, L11 to N45. That is L11 is known as the function name is unclamp. This is the not part of the clamp. This is if you want to clamp the function, then put the command for M10s, and if you want to unclamp that function, then you put the command for M11. Second one is M12. M12 means the unassigned. Unassigned, that means it is simply said that there is no working, there is no code is used for that M12, but is because it is an unassigned value for this. Okay. Now third one, that is M13 and M14. M13 is basically used for the spindle on CW and coolant on. So when you have to want to spindle on with the CW and with the coolant on, so these three part to be operating in a single way, in a one part. So you have to put the command for that M13. If you want to operate the command for spindle on, but for the CCW, not for CW, CCW. Okay, so and plus the coolant on. So you have to put the command, it is the M14 for that. Another one is the M15, that means the rapid transfers in the plus direction, and M16 used for the rapid transfer in the negative direction. So positive direction, negative direction of the rapid transfer is operated by the positively by M15 and negative by the M16, where the M17 and M18 is used for the unassigned value for that. Okay, and there is no values to be assigned for particular. There is no function will be assigned for M17 and M18, so it is not be useful for our work. Okay, another one is M19. M19 is basically used for the spindle stop at the specific angular position, and we can say that the spindle stop. There are different type of spindles so command are available for the on, but the stop is with the different angular position. So you have to put the command for that M19, that is M19 for that. M22, M29. There's a nine terms, that is 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So to M22, M29, this range, this is the unassigned value. There is a note value will be assigned on that particular range. Okay. Then is the M30. M30 is basically used for the program stop at end tap and plus the tap rewind for this. M31 used for the interlock bypass. M32 to M35 used for the constant cutting velocity. Okay, and M36 to M39 used for the unassigned value, and M40 to M45 means the gear change and the otherwise the assigned value. So these are the different type of, you can see here for constant velocity. If you're working with the same velocity, you do not want to change the velocity with different options, the different speed. Okay, so you have to manage for the command, that is the M32 to M35. With this, all the range are working with the constant cutting velocity ratio. And unassigned value, where you can see this is the first, second, third, and fourth. There are the four are unassigned series are available for that M12. Next one is M17 to M18, M22 and 29, and then M36 to M39. So these are the four. These are the two values are to be assigned for that. This value are not working with that particular code, so you do not use the code for that particular operation, which is not helpful for us. So these are the some code which are related to the gear change, related to the constant velocity, cutting velocity, interlocking path, and rapid transversal and spindle on for CW and for CCW. So this command is very easy to understand and having the unique feature which we have compared to that G code. But because you know that the G code is basically used for that we can say change the direction or controlling the direction of the particular operation. So you have to manage by the M code with the help of this. It is very simple. It is very helping and understanding code. So whenever you write the code for that, for example, that is the M17 and M18. So this code is not be run because you know that this function is not be assigned for particular function, and this function is not provided to action by the programming by the running the program, because this is not an authorized function. It is not authorized code used for that particular function. Okay, whenever you have to use for that series the M32 to M35, that is for the cutting constant velocity, constant cutting velocity will be provided, and having the great idea to be used for that M30 and for M40 for that. Okay, next one is the M46 to M49. M46 to M49, this is the unassigned value. M50 is equal to constant supply, that is a coolant supply for the number 3 section. And M51 used for the coolant supply for the M4 coolant supply for the 4 section. So they are the four type of coolant supply for the coolant 1, coolant 2, coolant 3, coolant 4. So the coolant supply on for the number 3 section is the M50, and number 4 for the M51 used for that. Where again the M52 to M54 used for the unassigned value. This is not we used for the part of function of a code or design. M55 means a linear cutter offset number 1 shift. Second is the M59, that is the linear cutter offset number second shift. So if you want to shift one for that offset cutter, then you have to put that M55, and second is the M56 for that. Now that is the M57 to M59 is used for the unassigned value. Where M60, that means the piece part changes for that. M61 used for the linear piece part shift for location 1. M62 used for that linear piece part location 2. So these are the some different, some are the very easy to understand and easy to remind for, because it has not the difficulty will be faced for the reading the, or if you can write the program, because it will be, these are related to each other and having the very easy to understand. Second is the M63 to M67. This is for the unassigned value. M68 to M69, that is for the clamp piece part and unclamp piece part. M70 command is used for the unassigned value. M71 is used for the angular piece part shift 1 for the location first, and M70 is used for the angular piece part shift for the location second. So these are the series of we can understand very easily, and having a no idea to how to can use for the section M70, because there is no plan for it. There is no function will be assigned by the ISO standard committee. So we can say that another code is M73 to M77. This range the code is will be unassigned code. There is no value will be assigned. And M78 used for the clamp not activate machine badways, and 79 M79 which is used for the unclamp not activate machine badways. And last, that is the M80 to M99 is used for the unassigned value. This is no requirement of the assigned value for the 20s term are in inside that. So these are the M code function, and which is a very popular having the big similarity. You can see in this diagram in this slide, that is you have to observe the M50 to M51 are same, M56 to M55 to 56 are same, we can say 61 to 62 are same, and M 68 to 69 are both are same, but they are just different little by difference between them, and for the shift one and for the shift two for the on and the off for one side. So this is the answer which we are making the command, which is easy to understand. This is why we can say that M code is very helpful and easy to understand, easy to controlling the machine operating from that point of view. Now, as you know that the M71, that is the M77 is used for the unsigned value, and there are the four type of assigned value are available. Five type, that is the for the series of M46 to M49. This is unassigned value. M52 to M54. This is also unassigned value. M57 to M59 is unassigned value, and M63 to M67 is unassigned value for that. So M70 this is also unassigned value, and M73 to M77 is also unassigned value for that, and M80 to M99 is also unassigned. So these are the difference. These are the reason why we are choosing that M code is very easy to understand, because a lot of the code are not be part of the function. Just to keep in mind during the observation that what series are not be unassigned and what series are to be unassigned. Where is to be unassigned, it is not to be cut for the series and to be controlled by the M code, which are different using for that particular operation. We have to using that different series which accepted not the use for the unassigned value, so for the assigned value to be adjusted. Now you can see in this diagram some of the more common miscellaneous function often found in many controllers. So M00. M00 means this will terminate the auto operation of the machine after completing the instructions in the block in which it has been programmed. And this is called the program stop for that, known as. And it is the required to continue with the rest of the program, or we can say that the start button of the console is to be pressed. So this is useful for changing the clamp position, or to carry out the inspections of a particular dimensioning after a machining cut is taken. This being a pulse function is called as for the attention of the operator. So delay the competition of the program, and therefore should be the avoiding as far as the possible. So this M00 code is used for the function of assigning by the we can say that the block to be instructed by completely to be done or not. So this program is will be completely operating or not. So that's why we can say to stop the program called known as very popular. If the required the continue function is to be raised the program, so when you have to use the button for the start, so it will be constant for the press, and it continuously for required the continue the restarting of the program, and we have to stop that particular timing and requirement of the which we have to stand or holding of that particular work phase for a certain time to be limited period. So we'll be providing for us. So this is the useful for the changing the clamp position basically, or to be carried out the inspection of the particular dimension art of a machining cut is taken. So these are the working principle of the M00 function for that. It is very useful for that, and we can say that hopefully it will delay the competition of the program, and Therefore, the should be the avoiding as far as the possible for that the CNC machine. M07 means that this is the optional stop and stop the machine as in the case of the M00. Only if the optional stop switch on the control console is on, and this is useful when the inspection is to be carried out on the some component and not all in a given batch. So these are the reasons why we are choosing that for the M01 code that is for the optional stop and have to be stopped that machine for that, and to be casing is used for that M00 used for that. So these are the reasons why we are using it, why we are very popular have to be an idea to understand having the quality control will be provided by them. So these are the option stop and these are the stop the machines, and this is the useful when have to instruction is to be carried out for the some component, not all in the given batch. So that's are very commonly used for that and having the idea to operate the function for the optional section. So this section is usually useful for that to be understand the quality service, and M01 is to be used for that. Second one is M02. So M02 means this is the end of program. This is the end of program and it causes the stop of the machine and clean off the, we can say, all the control registers and another code M30, and also does the same direction uses for that. So this we can say at the end of the program and it causes the stopping of the machine and clearly all the control registers and another code M30 also used for the same function. So they are the reasons why we are choosing, why we are as in the M code is to be very beneficial for that because it is for the program output, because it's used for the program stop, and it's for use, some code is used for the optional stop, some code is used for the M02 to be code is to be using for that. So there are different type of tragedy which we are absorbing, that we have to understand the programming, what type of program you have to write for that particular operation. M03, where the M03 command is used for the miscellaneous function for the machine spindle control for clockwise rotation. And this start the spindle to move in the clockwise direction at the speed set earlier using the S word addressing for that. And when it is a given in a block, it is the first code to be executed before all the other code in a block is accepted upon. So as we know that then when the spindle to be controlled by the clockwise direction, so you have to use the command for the M03 command is used for that, because it will be used for controlling the spindle by the clockwise direction. So you have to put the command for the S word for the addressing to writing the program to be S word is to be used for that. Next one, that is we can say there are different type of tool are available for the spindle, but M03 is basically used for the controlling of the clockwise direction rotation. Next is M04. So M04 means the miscellaneous function for the machine spindle control for the counterclockwise rotation, or we can say the start the spindles to move in the counterclockwise in direction at the speed set earlier using the S word address. So basically, the working of the M04 is used for the spindle control by the counter clockwise rotation. Whenever you use the M04, that is used for the spindle control for the clockwise direction, and M04 used for the counter clockwise direction. So this is about reason to be difference between them. So whenever you put the command, that is for the S, but what type of S you have to use for that? It is a M03 for the counter direction, the clockwise direction, or clockwise direction. So yes, you accepted what the operation you are performing, you have to select what is. Next is M05. So M05 used for that M05 that the function for stopping the miscellaneous the machine spindle. Basically, this option will be used for the spindle stopping the machine, and when it is given in a block, it is the last code to be executed after all the other code in the block are action upon. So these are the reasons we have to using for the M code, which is because this is very easily and having the spindle idea, having the given block to be used for that, executed all the other services factor which we are responsible to that. These all are the benefits we are given, and having the range to be operating the conditions are easy to understand and tackle by the machine control unit in the CNC machine. Next is the M06 code. That M06 code, that is the M06 is code is used for the tool change, and M07 is used for the M0 that is a coolant 1 for the on, and M08 used for the coolant 2 for on, and M09 used for the coolant off. So whenever you have to on the coolant for the section 1 and section 2, so you have to apply for section 1, that is M07, and if you want to apply the code for M08 for the coolant to on for that. M09 were used for the M09 used for the coolant off basically, and M30 means it this command used for the miscellaneous function of its machine spindle control for clockwise rotation and the starter of the coolant simultaneously. So this starts the spindle to move in the clockwise direction at a speed set earlier using the X words, the addresses for that. When it is given in a block, it is the first code to execute before all the other code to be used for that, and having a block of accepted upon that. So these are the reasons why we have to collect it for, selected for that particular operation have to be used for that, and having the idea to be controlled by managing the different spindle opportunity, different spindle conditions for rotation. That is the clockwise direction, anti-clockwise direction, counter-clockwise direction, and we can set the managing the speed by the earlier using of S word. So whenever you have to using the S word, it simply means the spindle working is active, and this active word is to be different condition for the clockwise, anti-clockwise, or counter-clockwise is to be used for the So, as you said that in the question number 1, that is the component of machine is shown in the figure, as you show in the figure, is the components of the machine. It is assumed that the pocket is through and hence only the side is to be machined as a finished cut of the pocket. And the tool to be used is a 20 mm diameter short drill. If an end mill is to be used, the program should be modified with a hole to be drilled as a part B first before the end milling is used. And the setting is done with the point A for the reference of 0, 0, 0, and the reference axes are along, that is X and Y direction. And a typical program as per the ISO accept the decimal point for this will be easier using for that. So you have to using the command for that what type of a code we are writing for that particular operation. So first of all you have to see that this is a diagram, what type of diagram we can show. You have to show that the diagram will be said that there are two axes, x axis and y axis for this section. So that is clear that CNC machine or that any type of CNC machine we are working with the two axes first of all in this diagram as per the according of this question. So for the x direction from the datum of the x to height of will be covered, that is for the 100 we can say 100 mm, and for the height of base A to B point, so that is 25 mm, we have to take the point of a B and E same. And another one used for that point is 50, that is for you to point another one in the center middle function. And because we know that the 50-50, that is a 50 to 50 is a 100 total function, so 50 is the half section for it. From the half section you have to manage the radius of 35 using for that, and 75 from bottom of the tail, 75 using for that to be make a this round circle and completely make a parabola or make a diagram to be easy for that. So you have to managing this all the sections using for that to be have idea to be circulated, which is very helpful to understand the fundamental basic feature, which will be very easy to we can say manage the machining operation like that. So for that the solution is given. So for the solution is given, that is the M001 G92 X0 Y0 and Z0. So these are the solution for that particular operation. How you can write the program? So you have to write the program for this series, that is the N001 G92 X0 Y0 and Z0. So this code is basically represented for that absolute presenting at A point. So these are the absolute presenting for A point N002 and N009 G902. It is an absolute programming using for that. So assume programming, there is not any particular part which is an absolute programming for a particular operation. Next is M003 D00 X 25 0 Y 0.25 0 72 and T01 S 3000 M03. So these are the some reasons why we are using that particular operation for the M code or G code, that is to be using as a right program for tool brought rapidly at B, 2 mm above the Y XY plane. Now M04, that is the N004, G01, Z12, 0F120, and the command used for the tool goes down to the full depth. So a full depth, that is the 120 for the full depth, that is the direction and is the number of that particular code, and M005 means the Y75.0, it will proceed to the C. And 006 x 66 x 65.0, that means the proceed toward the right to D. And 007.002 Y25.0 Y0 J35.0. This section used for the cut curved profile that for the T is equal to E, capital E. And N008, that is the X25.0, is proceeding for the point B. N009 to Z2.0 used for that tool move for the 2 mm above the SY plane for this, because these are the some section which we are using for that. These are the command for A, B, C, D, and for the plan for a particular X plane, Y plane, and for Z plane, and what position we are using for the 0, 0, 0, 2 axis on above that. So these are the series, these are the writing phenomena of that particular operation, how to write the program for that. So you can write the program for next, that is for the G0, N010, G00, Z50.0, and M05, and spindle stop and rapid move upon. So these are the reason for using for the spindle stop, and during the if you want to start the spindle and rapid moves up, that is to be command used for that. Next is the N011 and X0Y0. So we can say that a rapid move to the pin start at the point that is 0.0, and M012 M30 means command is the end of the program, and tab the reviewed for this. So these are the reasons of why we are choosing this very easily to understand, and having the idea it will be very easy to operating, and having the very clear to be understand, to be procedure easily. So these are the reasons of the solution of the, I hope you understand. First of all, what we are doing, we have to just write a program for that particular operation, and as per that given data you have to find out by taken the with the diagram. And because we are know that the X and Y, that there are two type of plans are available, and each and every plan has to be represent some values, that is the X values represent from the horizontal side, from the height, that is from the 100 mm, and for the middle section, that is we are using the curve for R35, that section middle point we can set the height for the bottom to the 50 mm from the heart of the total. And 75 we use for that particular operation will be performed by using that code. And A2 with some gap to be divided for the C and D point from that 0, that is to be a 25 and a 65 mm used for this. So that's why we can say, if you have an idea how to can operating this, so radius will be calculated by the point B, that is the R10. So these are the reasons we have to calculate, we have to understand by the tool geometry, and how to can write the program. You can see this is the right writing of the program from in front of you, for it is very easy to understand. There is no any difficulty we are facing for that. And as you know that it is very simple, that you have to just put a command for a particular axis for the M05, M02, M03, and M04. Each and every command are different to each other, having the different idea. So as you know that there are different type of M code, that total different type of M90 M code, and each and every time I describe the first of all about the major code to be used in the general daily life basically. So these code are representing that first is we can say M00. So this will determine the auto operation of the machine after the completing the instructions and the block, and which has to be programming. And we can say for this is the code, and for the programming will stop. And if it is required to continue with the rest of the program, and the start the button of the console is to be pressed. So this is useful for the changing the clamp position and of to be out of the inspection or a particular dimension according to the machining and cut turn we have to use for that. And to this being is the part is process functioning. So we know that this is the end programming the function, and having the causing the rate of the stopping of the machine, and hence clearing the control. So that was the register to we have to be not the 30 using for the dozen the same type of function we are using. So these are the using of different type of functions and different type of sections for the as per the requirement of the machine, that is M0, M001, M02. And M03, M04, M06 is used for that basically counterclockwise, clockwise, and spindle stop for that. So whenever you have to just decide that the spindle will be stopping, and we have to how to make managing, we have to manage by starting the purpose of that particular machine to be understand easily. So these are the some reasons why we are choosing that M03 and M04, M05. This have because used for the M03. That is for the S word. When the S word is used, that is spindle to be operated. For operating the spindle speed, you have to use that for the S command. And if you operating the tool, that you have to use it for the tool T command. So these are the difference between that and easily to understand, easily to write, and having the very fine structure will be provided in the diagram that you have can understand in ever for that. How to can write the program that is used for this. So this program is that is writing will be the help of writing with the help of that AutoCAD first. So you have to you draw the diagram in the AutoCAD or in SolidWorks, any other type of software. But the operation is performed in the that used for the CAD software. Okay, basically. So computer design is to be designed a particular product and have to be using a very fine quality will be provided and have to be idea how to be managed by this. So these are the reasons to be calculated by the Y code and M code with the help of this. So these are the R10 and the RE that is used for the 10 is used for the R35 and the R100 for this. So how we can write the program? You have to write the program by managing or so this simple question. It's a very simple question. We do not have to an idea how to be what type of ISP program or as per the record we have to manage the different conditions we are occur. So this diagram will be showing the conditions we'll be using for the different orthogonal, we can say the cutting and what type of a cutting we are providing that simple cutting or any high precision cutting. So depending upon the quality of the workpiece and the quality of the work we are producing for that particular operation. So hopefully you have to understand all this criteria and all this we can say the code are using for the M code or the M0 12 to M30 as the end of the program the tab view. So whenever you have to tap the view for this program will be end as per the requirement. So this we can understand. Yes, it is very simple and having the great idea to be how we can organize, how we can conduct the strength of the material, how we can calculate, how we can rotate the material from that. These are the examples which we are providing by this. It is very easy to understand and easy to be reminder for any student will be focusing on the CNC machine or any other type of machine. So this type of machine will be helpful for to understand the better quality purpose and having the good the materialistic we have to providing for the M series in the M direction. So there is no requirement of the any other type of operation which we are addition on that particular idea. So these are the reasons we have to select it for this particular operation as in that. So at the end of this lecture, I am just asking that some code basically based on the G code, M code, that is G code and M code. So which of the following code is used to return to a referencing point? So that is the codes are available. That is for the G23, B28, G14, G19, and the answer is B. So how we can say the answer is B is correct for that? That is for the command is used for the A28 is the function of that A28 is to reference point is written as the coolant. Okay, so it is the used as a code to return as a reference point for that particular where you starting the point and you have to given the reference from that particular point you have to start that operation and you have to given that reach the destination. So these are the reference point we have to measure very easily and having the idea to be generated for that M23 is not a part of that and M28 is a part for that and G40 and the G19 is not a part for that particular operation. So that's why we can say it is a very easy to understand and easy to operate. But having the some you have to have a logical idea to have an understanding what type of codes are available and what type of conditions are to be used for to using the G28 as the right answer for this series. Second one is which of the following code is used in thread cutting in turning. So options are G32, G89, G20, and G74. The correct answer that is the A. That is the for the G32 using. Now we can say use the code used in the thread cutting in the turning operation. So thread cutting in the turning operation used basically working as a part of for starting for face reading or to cleaning the face or to providing the fund or to providing the clean resources which we are helping for that understanding clearly. So this type of code is basically used for the managing a part of turning and having the using the thread for the G32. So this 32 series is basically used for the thread cutting in the milling operation, which is very a part helping. Third one is which of the following code is used to cancel the offset compensation for the counter radius. The options are the G40, G502, G42, and G00, and the answer that is A is correct for this. And we know that the code is that there are different type of code and the series used for that 40 series and we can say 0 series. So where the G40 and the G42 is the command part for that preparatory function, where it is just called the G40 code is used for that to control or we can say the code is used to cancel the offset compensation for the cutter radiation with the helpful for the G40 is the correct answer. A is the correct answer for this. Fourth is which of the following code is used to give the cutter offset compensation left of a part surface for this. So the options are A G40, B G41, C G42, and the G is a 50. So if you can select the part that is G41 is the correct answer for this. The reason behind this is this code G41 U code is used to give the cutter offset compensation left of a part surface for this. So these are the reasons why we are selecting the this code is very popular, having the idea how to be using for this type of code very easily. So this code will be using for that. Second is the fifth one is which of the following code is used to give the cutter offset compensation and right of the part surface. Options are A is equal to G00, B is equal to G41, C is equal to G42, and D is equal to G91 basically. So correct answer that is G42 is the right answer because we know that the G42 command is used to give the cutter offset compensation for the right of the part surface basically. Where right of the part surface is used for another code and for that G42 is used for the give the cutter offset compensation and right of the part surfacing for that. So G42 is the right answer. That is C option. Next question that is which of the following code is used to specify the location of a coordinate axis system origin relative to the starting location of the cutting tool. Options are A is equal to G01, B is equal to G41, C is equal to 500 and D is equal to 5G50. That is a D is the correct answer. That is D is used for the G50, basically used for the specify or to state the location of a coordinate axis system for the origin related to the starting the location of a cutting point or starting location cutting point. That means simply we can say x-axis, y-axis, the z-axis. So what type of origin you have to select for that? So you have to prepare that this code is that G750 code is used to give the location and set the location for particular axis, and then after you have to start the location of a cutting tool. So G50 is the correct answer for to select the particular code for that. Seventh is which of the following code is used in the programming in the absolute coordinates. The options are A is equal to G90, B is equal to G32, T is equal to G92, and D is equal to G08. And the correct answer that is A option is correct for that at G90. So as you know that the G90 code is used in the programming in absolute coordinates, where the absolute coordinates because from the zero starting from 0 to x 0 to y 0 to z and x1 y1 x1 to z2 y1 y2. So these are the some absolute coordinator which are using that particular program for writing that operation. So which we are using that the G90 code is very helpful to understand a particular code. Eighth, that is which of the following code is used in the programming in incremental coordinates. Options are G90, B G91, C G92, and D G94. And answer that is B is the correct answer to be used for the code in the programming in the incremental coordinates are to be used as a G91 is for code is very answer for that particular question. Ninth question, which of the following code is used to specify the location of coordinate axis system origin relative to the start location of cutting tool? Options are G17, G91, G92, and G00. So the correct answer that is C is G92 is the correct answer for this. And the 10th question is which of the following code is used to specify the feet per minute in milling and drilling machine? The options are G69, G10, G00, and G94. So the options are, that is a D is the correct answer, that is G94. So G94 code is used to specify the feet per minute in the milling and the drilling operation. So at the end of this lecture, I am just recommend some books for the machining science and machine tool series. It is Modern Machine Process, PC Pandey, HS Shah from Tata McGill Publisher. Machine Tool Design by NK Mehta for Tata McGill Publisher. Production Engineering Science by PC Pandey and CK Singh, Standard Publisher Limited. And fourth is Manufacturing Technology by RK Rajput and Lakshmi Publication. And fifth is Manufacturing Technology by PN Rao for the Tata McGill Publisher. So if you doubt any query, you will be drop me a mail on my email ID amit.tiwari@myganda.com, and you will be put query on my email ID also, that Sam, and contact to me mobile number 8690319448. I hope you enjoy this video. Thank you so much for listening patiently for listening this video. Thank you.